Really, if you one really really care about what you are trying to create, like on a very very deep level, and you have like this goal that you're trying to reach, and you know you need a team to do it.
Yeah.
If you have that like type of conviction or whatever, and it's just you got to get it, do it. On the other side, I would say though, if you have that like, if you have that ambition to like grow and really like the people that you work with, if you have a group of people that you came up with and you guys really trust each other and you guys can really like be honest with each other, be that soundboard for each other, excuse me, and really like be a good group together, then it's worth it, you know, because you're already going to go through that headache anyway, because those are your boys, that's your family, that's, you know, when you really are locked in with people, then I would say it's worth it, because your relationship can already handle a lot.
I mean, so one of the things that I always try to think of, and this is kind of how I approach almost anything, I always want to start with the end in mind. Like, what do I want this to look like? What do I want this to feel like? What do I want this to sound like when it's all done? And then I kind of reverse engineer the process. But again, using those project management skills of initiating, planning, you know, executing, and kind of following those steps that are somewhat universal to the project management world. But when you start with that end in mind, and it's okay if you stray from that, but at least you have a goal that you're looking to reach or attain, or at least a vision that you're looking to, you know, secure at the end. Starting with the end in mind is I would say is probably the number one piece of advice that I could give somebody. If you're going to kind of go at it and take like this, you know, kind of haphazard shotgun approach to things, you're going to find yourself getting bogged down, going down lanes that you shouldn't go down. You're going to lose your vision. You might lose yourself in the process. But if you can kind of stay true to that, keeping the end in mind, that's going to really kind of help set the stage for a successful process. Even if at the end it looks different than what you originally conceived.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I never really utilized Instagram until I moved to Nashville to expand the brand in a different way. Like you said, in Wisconsin, it was posters, it was MaxInc radio, it was going into radio stations, it was playing the local festivals to get your name out. There wasn't really, I mean, maybe a little bit of Facebook, you know, and boosting events on Facebook to make sure people knew that this New Year's Eve party was happening. But really, I quickly learned, like, if I want to get my brand out of just the nucleus of where it's been, which is where I'm from, where I was playing shows primarily, I needed to expand. And I really do think that utilizing social media and posting and having a space other than just your website where people can connect and kind of keep that conversation continuing is really important. So as new, you know, social media platforms come out, getting on them as an independent artist and just an artist in general is extremely important. Like when Threads came out, I was on Threads like immediately, just following people, like, you know, making a point that I am active on social media. So
music business is full of stories of people saying, well, you know, I signed this contract and I didn't know I was giving away my rights. I didn't know I was signing away the ability to do X, Y, or Z, or to collect X, Y, or Z, or to own X, Y, or Z. I couldn't get out of my contract. You know, these are the kind of horror stories that the music business is unfortunately plagued with, and it's not necessarily because you know, one side may be trying to be vulturous or anything like that. It's, I mean, there probably are some of those scenarios, but what it is one side is trying to protect their quote unquote business interests, and the other side just doesn't maybe understand what they need to understand to become a business savvy musician, and then they feel like they got taken by a contract. So the first thing is if a contract is put in front of you, I very often will say make sure that you get it in front of somebody who knows what they're doing. Get in front of a music attorney like myself. Get it in front of somebody to review it. And if you think something if you don't understand something in it, don't sign it before you have somebody review it. You could be that person who's signing away the rights to your own song. There have been times in my practice where people have come to me and said, hey, I got this contract being offered to me. I would love to have you look at it and tell me what you think. And there are times where I look at the contract and I say, this is a phenomenal deal for you. Let's move forward with a couple, maybe some modifications. There's other times where I've looked at them and I've said, this is a deal that's going to affect your rights significantly, and you're going to have to make a decision whether or not you want to, for example, give up the rights to your song.
But the cool thing with Belushi is because of the way our live shows are, with all the trash flying and the party, the way the music is, and the way that we are as individuals, we built a band to where we can really do anything we want and it makes sense. Because it's chaos. It's like organized chaos. I sold my socks once on Bandcamp. One-off pair of socks. Just told my wife I'm going to do it. She said, you won't do that. And I did. And someone bought, $2 for my one-off socks. And then sold my tour used shoes. Those went to Carl, actually. His son bought them for him. Carl's out in Atlanta. He was in the hospital, which much respect to Carl. He's like, I say he's 76 maybe. He goes to a bunch of punk shows, and he ended up getting knocked down pretty hard in a mosh pit. And that's how he ended up in the hospital. He's good now. He's stabilized. But anyways, back on track. I think a big part of it is that we are able to do whatever we want and it fits. And our fans know that, like, when you're purchasing one of the items from me, oftentimes it's going to be a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 10 or a 1 of 20. It's going to be a limited thing, and it's going to be something that I made personally, that I put my hands on. And there's not a lot of bands that do that you're getting it direct from me, you know what I mean? So I think that helps. I really do.
I think, like, my biggest piece of advice is make sure what you're doing is something that you like and that you personally resonate with. For me, I think, like, if Lunar Moth was just trying to do, like, trendy stuff, or I don't know, just making content for content's sake, I think that we would get burnt out, because it is a ton of time. It's a huge time commitment to do reels or videos of any kind. So I would just, first and foremost, just make sure that you actually like what you're doing, whether or not that's like the trendy thing to do. And then as far as equipment goes, like, we, for the most part, all of our videos are just done on our phones.
Yeah,
so
we use cinematic mode on Mac's iPhone for most of it.
Yep.
It's really what it is, because you don't need much else. Another piece of advice I would have is, like, it's not going to be good out of the gate. If you take a look at a lot of our, like, really, really early promo, it was pretty bad. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. We hired someone to help us on Cotton Candy, and we're going to continue to hire people to help us with music videos, because, like, if you're doing a larger scale production, it's hard and can cost money, but sometimes that's what it needs if you want to see it through. And sometimes you just need someone to hold a cell phone. Like,
again, going and playing shows and going to festivals especially, you always see what everybody else has got, and then you start talking to everybody else about their merch, and then it's also a good way to, like, network too, because you find out who's using who for what merchandise. Like, for, like, our tapes, for instance, they come out of Philly from a friend of ours. Do It Now t-shirts.
Right.
But it's a merchandise. It's a good networking tool too.
Certainly. And when you're DIY from the ground up, like we are, you are utilizing every tool in the box that you have, but it's just a kind of, like, happy coincidence that it happens to be something that I love doing and that I've always wanted to do, which is making art and music, but it's just like, yeah, we get to meet other artists that way. We get to meet people who like art because they're going to be drawn to the table. We're casting a wider net, I think, because you don't have to like our music. You can hate banjos and still come to our table and find something you like. If you like comic books, there's going to be a comic book there, or stickers, or buttons, or whatever.
Yeah, we'll do splits too. We have like one split in particular that's out there. It's got one side ours, and then another side is a stoner metal band. A bunch of friends of ours from Sebring called Brain Resin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely sold that to a couple of people that didn't want our stuff.
It's true. They're like, "Oh, what's this?" It's like, well, there's a really cool stoner metal band on the other side. If you, if you want to support, but you didn't really like our band, but it's like,
Because